Hello and welcome to another video from EarnPed.com. I am StevieB. I hope you are all doing well. Today, guys, I have a special video I wanted to make. It is not a video I had planned to make. It's just one that kind of struck me as something that we should do. So first of all, let's go over a couple of things before we get started. First of all, let's go to a trade terminal because I want to let you guys in on a scam that used to happen a lot. It is not something that happens a lot nowadays, but I just want to throw it out there just in case. So if we look at our map, inside of Entropia, and yes, we have plenty of smack sips and all that good stuff for all the haters today. It's actually the storm of the century outside, guys. The official weather here in Oklahoma City is like -1. And with wind chill, it's like -30 or something stupid. I went to work yesterday. We shut the shop down after about half a day. And just getting in the truck to go to work, like the truck was like, nope, not having it. Vehicles just aren't designed for this kind of cold. So here on Entropia, on planet Calypso, we've got two different types of PvP zones. You see we've got an orange zone here, an orange zone here, a red zone here, and an orange zone here. The orange zone here, and at the bottom of the map, red zone here. So these orange zones are PvP areas where you can be shot but not looted. So it doesn't matter if you go in here. Yes, you can die, but that's all they can do to you. They can't take your stuff. In these red zones, they're called contaminated zones. These red zones are PvP areas where people can not only shoot you, but they can take your stuff. Now the only stuff they can take is going to be under these two tabs, materials and mined resources. Now if you notice, if I click on an item like my F-106, it doesn't say anything about being lootable, right? But if I go to my storage, handy dandy storage over here, almost everything in your materials tab says, warning, this item can be looted in PvP areas. Even stuff I crafted, this item can be looted in PvP areas, right? So just like going into space, we want to be sure we don't have anything in our materials tab or anything in our mined resources tab. So I am wearing armor, and I have something with me called a portable trade terminal unit. So if I equip this and I hit E, it pops up a portable trade terminal, just like a regular trade terminal. Now notice, just by equipping it, it cost me 5 PEC, right? And took 0.02% of decay. So this isn't something you just want to use all willy-nilly. I did it just there to show you guys kind of how it works and how it decays. But it looks just like a regular trade terminal. So that allows you to buy stuff in the field. It also allows you to sell stuff in the field. Now one thing that is in the trade terminal, I believe it's under medical, is this Anti-Tox shot. It costs 5.1 PED. You have to purchase it and use it before you can enter a contaminated zone. If you try and use it without entering if you try and enter a contaminated zone without it, then what ends up happening is you just die. It will let you run right up to the edge of the contaminated zone, and then you will just straight up die. So if you don't have the Anti-Tox shot, it's not going to let you in. So you don't really have to worry about going into these places as a new player without that shot. Now the scam used to be that people would offer to give you a free ride to different places, but they would tell you that you had to go to the trade terminal and you had to get this shot before you could get a ride, right? So people would take the Anti-Tox shot, they would be full up on loot, and then people would take them right into a contaminated zone, and that's where their friends would be waiting for them. And that is where they would die. And then they would get looted, and it was just all bad, and obviously Mindark was not going to do anything about it, right? So it was just bad, bad, bad. So if you're a new player and somebody offers you a free ride and tells you to get all your loot or that you need an Anti-Tox shot, big warning sign, do not do it. So if you're going into a contaminated zone, I recommend a couple of things. Number one, go empty. Number two, wear armor, preferably good armor. I'm not even wearing good armor. I'm just wearing my adjusted Pixie at the moment. This is something you would want to wear some type of PvP armor for. Number 3, go in with a reason. And number 4, go in quickly and get out quickly. Because if you're in there for a long time, the longer you're in there, the more of a chance that you're going to run into somebody who is going to kill you. Every time you die, it costs you 5 ped, because you've got to buy another Anti-Tox shot before you can go in. They're only one-time use, right? Now, they last until you die. I have one very good friend in game that took an Anti-Tox shot about 4 years ago, and it's still active. My Anti-Tox shot, my very first one, was active for, I would say, probably close to a year. And then I went into a PvP zone on Arcadia, and I died like 3 times in 2 days. So it gets very expensive very quickly. But if you want to have a little bit of a different experience in Entropia, hey, somebody killed a Mulciber. Wow, that's impressive. 181 peg. Good job. If you want to have a little bit of a different experience in Entropia, a PvP lootable zone is definitely the way to do it. Now, everything in a PvP zone works the exact same way that it does in any type of other zone. The only difference is every shot counts. So if you're using a gun, every time you fire it, there's decay, even if you miss. Every time you fire it, it uses ammo, even if you miss, right? So that is the one exception. Now, that's not going to be true, I don't think, with things like Mind Force and Blades. I think they recently changed that, but it is true with ranged weapons. And there are some ranged weapons that go so far, they can kill you before they even see you on radar, because they're using scopes, right? So always, always, always be wary of that. There's also a teleporter right over here next to this contaminated zone. This is the Auk Mole Island teleporter. And inside this contaminated zone is where the molems are. There's also a special instance inside this contaminated zone. I have never got to do it, but you can get materials from Crystal Palace, from the loot that is dropped up there, and you can create something that essentially makes a special spawn in this contaminated zone. I think it's for an hour or two, and then people will, especially high-level players, will hunt that spawn for the entire time it's active, because they drop special components in loot that are used to make certain things, and these things have like a 3,000% markup. So if you're a high enough level player to be able to hold your own in a contaminated zone, and you've been playing long enough to be able to get to that point, then there are some ways to make money in a contaminated zone that are just not available to the rest of us. So the reason I wanted to go in was to just kind of show you guys a little bit of what it's like. There are some interesting mobs that are here that you do not normally see. One of them in particular is called the Attacker. It's like a little, almost like a drone. It almost looks like a little drone, like something you would buy at Walmart. And it's kind of cool. It moves kind of weird. They're kind of a fun thing to shoot. I wish they had them outside of the contaminated zones too. They're really, really interesting little creatures. And one of the things they're dropping at the moment, I guess, is the... Hold on a second, guys. I'm switching back and forth between tabs here. One thing they're dropping at the moment is the short ministry board. Now, this is something that is needed if you get the Pal Stool daily for your crafting mission. I literally made a video yesterday about how whenever you're doing the daily missions here on Cali, you're more likely to hit globals. I literally just made that video today. I got the Pal Stool mission. The Pal Stool mission is 29 attempts at creating Pal Stool. And literally on click number 27, I hit like a 75 peg global. I wish I had made the video today, while doing it, because it was just so perfect. So as you can tell, I am already in the PvP zone. Notice that my little, I'm going to pull this up here so you guys can see it. Notice my little red thing. You may attack and be attacked by others, but notice I still can't be looted yet, because I'm in the water still, right? That's going to change shortly. I'm going to pull this up here so you guys can see it. Whenever I can get looted, this will turn red. This will also turn red. Now, right now, I can't be looted. I'm not in a toxic area. These two will turn the same color at the same time, because when you're in a toxic area, you can be looted, right? That's the whole point of a toxic area. Notice I can have a vehicle, and I am allowed to be in this area. If I was not allowed in this area, it would be red. If I was not allowed to have a vehicle, it would be red. Now, there are some combinations that are weird. Obviously, these three are all going to be red if you're in a PvP lootable area. If you're just in a lootable area, like see now how I'm approaching a lootable zone and they both turned orange, that's a warning sign. Fort Argus, this one is red, these two are green, and this one is red because you cannot have vehicles in Fort Argus. So I'm in a contaminated zone. I can now be killed and looted, and I'm not allowed to have a vehicle. But I am allowed to be here. So I'm going to pull this back down here. Take a look at my map, see exactly where I am. Swim, swim, swim. Equip weapon. And no, this is not the proper weapon for what I'm about to do. Not even close. But let's just hope we don't run into another player, shall we? And guys, you can hold your breath underwater in Entropia infinitely. Like, you're not going to die just for being underwater, which is kind of nice. Let's see, where do I want to go? I want to go right over there. I'm just curious. Nada. Well, that kind of sucks. Not what I'm looking for. Hey, a little gibnib. Those guys right there, the Hyrule, if you get too close to them, they will chase you. And they're a pain in the butt, especially around here. Especially when you're somewhere you don't want to be chased. Yep, see, he's already chasing me. Dung! Little gibnib. Not really what I'm looking for. Hyrule. Another gibnib. We can ignore him. Yeah, it should be right over this way somewhere. Nope. I'm going to go ahead and take him out. One of the reasons that everybody fights these guys so bad whenever they do the spawns around Cali is because you cannot really find these guys outside of a contaminated zone. Most of the time you're only going to find them in a contaminated zone. Here we go, I think this is it. Nope. More gibnib, more mulums. The attackers should be right here somewhere, right in here. Mull 'em. That's the problem, is these mull 'em are all over the place, so you kind of either got to take them out or you got to go around them. One of the two. I'm looking for the attacker drones. They should be right in this general area. Might have to go a little bit further in. Also remember that shrapnel can be looted, so if you're constantly converting your shrapnel, then you're actually keeping the amount of lootable stuff that you have on you to a minimum. Constantly converting your shrapnel turns it back into universal ammo, and they cannot loot universal ammo. I want to say the attacker drones should be right here-ish, so we should almost be there. But as you can see, it's just kind of a mess because PvP, lootable PvP, it's a mixture of these mullims, and it's a mixture of these things you don't want to mess with, and also just kind of a waiting game to see if anybody else shows up. And people will just teleport in. They'll teleport all around here, just waiting to see if somebody's there. Here we go. Attacker Generation 3. On the right track. So these little attacker drones right here. See, they're kind of weird looking. You don't really see them anywhere but here. Here's another one. Here we go. This isn't a very dense spawn, but they're definitely here. Yeah, now we're on the right track. Once you can find one of them, the rest are usually pretty close by. And they are fast, so sometimes it's really hard to catch them. But once you can get them aggravated, they come right to you. The good thing I like about them is I believe the same damage type that they do is the same damage type that would happen if you got hit by a ranged weapon. It's essentially just like the same thing that happens when you get shot. I'd have to double check the wiki. But the cool part about that is if you're wearing like Adjusted Vigilante, which is more or less that, or Adjusted Nemesis is ideal for PvP. If you've got plates and stuff to go with it, it's going to give you the same protection. So anytime you're fighting like these or drones in a PvP area, you don't even really need to switch armors. You don't need to do anything special. You'll already be geared up. You know what, just to be on the safe side, in case something stupid happens, think there's more of them up this way. I think there's a little bit bigger spawn. Yeah, here we go. And this is not the part of the PvP zone that a lot of the higher end players like to go to. I have not been to that section of it. I do not intend to go to that section of it. For sake of the video, I might show you guys part of that area. It's not somewhere I like to frequent. Yeah, just over this ridge there should be a good number of these guys. Like down in this valley right here, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I've been here. I did not loot any of what I intended to loot yet. Nada. Another Mullum. I know it's right around here. There's a ridge. I want to say it's like right here. We're getting really close to it. But there's a ridge where there's just a ton of these attackers at. A lot of the higher end players, they try and stay more up here because there's a lot higher level Mullums. That instance I was talking about where you can spawn the special type of, I guess it's a worm, is up there. That was kind of crappy. More Mullums up here on the ridge. I kind of discovered these guys by accident because I was actually trying to go around all the Mullums one day when I was out here just kind of exploring, and I ran into them. So should be, I remember there's a big batch of Mullums like this. Yeah, see all those red dots on the radar, guys? Those are all Mullums, which is why a lot of the bigger players like to come here and hunt them. Also, why you want to avoid them like the plague, because notice they get very high level very fast, level 57. And that's not even the highest level. There's some of these guys are like level 80, level 90. I can take out an outcast. Outcast I can handle. The other thing is, guys, a lot of players that are really hardcore players that have played for years, they know what mobs are in contaminated PvP zones. So a lot of times if you do global down here, everybody will know it and they will come for you. So if you hit a Hoff or a global on a Mullum, even certain minerals, see those level 57, level 52. Gotta go around. If you hit a global or a Hoff on some of these creatures down here in these contaminated zones, everybody and their dog will know it. They will see the global message and they will come right for you. It will be like death just coming straight to your door. I want to say the attackers we're looking for are like right here. Kind of in this general area. So like I'm being chased by a very high level Mullum. That's that little red dot on my radar following me. I'm trying to get away because I do not want him to kill me. Oh no, it's an attacker. Is it an attacker? Yeah, it's an attacker drone. Little attacker drone. Hello, little attacker drone. I don't know if these things can drown or not. Don't look like it. Looks like I looted it. I know Mullums can drown. There for a second that I was being chased by a Mullum. Another little attacker drone right here, so yeah, we're back on the right path. Gotta get around that big group of Mullum first. Notice I did get some corn silk paint, virtually no demand. So far while I've been here, I have not had the best loot, not a lot of good markup stuff. The sockets have maybe a 5% markup, the hide maybe 2%. The filters and the low loss cable, maybe another 2 to 3%. So mainly TT food at the moment. Hoping to change that with some of these attacker drones. Because like I said, they should be dropping the boards that you need to make the PAL stool. And those boards have like a 500% markup. The only reason I know that is because the wiki told me what was dropping them, and I knew where the attacker drones were. So, we'll see. Then again, if you lose too much money due to decay, too much money due to being looted by players, and too much money due to having to take anti-tox shots from getting killed, the boards really don't make it up. I'm curious. Yep, attacker does have its own Codex reward. It's pretty cool. Still on rank 1. So you can tell I don't spend a lot of time here. Now, an interesting thing to think about, something that people haven't mentioned in other videos, is how does Codex rewards come into play when factoring in should you or should you not spend money going into a PvP zone? Well, like I said, attackers have their own Codex reward. So the skills that you can get from that at some point could offset the risk of being in a PvP zone. So like right now on rank 1, very, very tiny reward. It's not going to offset crap. But once you get to the higher ranks, it could very well offset. I mean, if you're looking at a 25 PED reward, TT, especially if you're already a higher level player, especially if you already have completed a lot of the other challenges, that could factor in. It's not going to be enough to offset it if you die a lot, but if you don't die a lot, it could help offset it. So again, level 66 is here. I'm going to try and avoid those like the plague. Just going to do a little bit of exploring while we're at it. Personally, I've never had very good luck with mining in PvP areas. I haven't. I know people say it's the best mining there is. That has not been my experience, like, ever. There's a ridge around here, and I know we're pretty close to it. We've got to be, because I ran it once a while back. There's a ridge around here, and I was just doing some exploring. I know there's a lot of Mullums in between. Then you get over this ridge, and it's just attacker drones everywhere. How bad is the snow, guys? I went to work yesterday. We were open from 9 to 2, so that meant I had to get there at 10 to get everything ready. I don't think we actually closed until like 3. So we were open for 3 hours. My sales goals for the day were like $5,000. My total sales for the day were like negative 68 bucks. I had somebody return something that was a couple $100, and it actually sent me negative. So that's pretty impressive. It was bad. I'm not going to say I didn't have people wandering in. I did, but I think it was more out of boredom and I was the only place open, so it very quickly got to the point it was like, okay, this is stupid. Why are we even here? Right? And the snow just started piling up so bad, and that's what the problem is. It's not, the problem is the cold, don't get me wrong. But the other problem is the snow is fluffy, and it's not going horizontally, it's stacking vertically. So it started snowing about 10 a.m., and by noon, there was already like a 2 to 3 foot snowdrift. So that makes it very dangerous, especially when people are trying to drive. I want to say it's this little valley right here. I apologize, guys. I know this video is a little bit longer than normal. So one thing about it, like everything I have really looted so far, honestly, is more or less TT food. Practically all of it. None of it really has any markup to speak of. So one thing, if you're going to come in here and you're going to grind away on something, is I would say don't pull that trade terminal unit out all the time and use it, because like I said, it's 5 pec every time you equip it. But also be picky about what you're keeping. If you're in a contaminated zone, it would be better to not lose what you have on you than it would be to keep everything that has virtually no markup, right? So, I mean, like everything that you see in my window, all these little sockets, all this crap, if I was stacking up large amounts of this, if I was just doing kill after kill, I would be TTing it at certain intervals. I would be waiting until I got a certain amount of ped where I was not comfortable losing that much, and I would just throw it in the TT. Normal hunting, okay, that's one thing, but this is one of those things where you have to know what your loss limits are. What are you comfortable losing? There are some people who lose hundreds, if not thousands, of ped because they run around here mining, and then they don't TT anything. They just keep it all. You can't do that in a contaminated zone. It doesn't work like the rest of the game does. So here's some level 39s. And they might have changed where the attackers are since the last time I'm here, because I want to say they were down here in this little ravine right here. This looks about right. I do know that the Molem spawns, and these big groups of them anyway, they do move. They do move around the PvP area. This looks about right. So I know they don't just constantly sit in one spot. So they might do the same thing with the attackers, but the attackers should have been like right in here somewhere. This looks right. Here we go. Maybe this is it. It's a pretty thick spawn too. Yeah, this is it. When I say pretty thick, I don't mean there's hundreds. I mean there's dozens. Yep, this is it. Now you see them? There's 2 more over here. The whole point of me coming down here was I want to see if they really do drop these boards and how often. So far it's looking like not often enough to make it worth coming to hunt them. I still haven't got a single board. Let's see what happens. Also, guys, keep an eye on your health, because keep in mind that the mobs can kill you too. It's not just players. The mobs can definitely kill you as well. I said that and then I almost died because I didn't pull out the FAP fast enough. I don't have a lot of stuff hotkeyed at the moment, mainly because I haven't redone my hotkeys in a while. I usually set them up how I want them for Mayhem, and then afterward I'll set them up how I want them after, and I just never set them up after Mayhem again. Like I said, these things, once you aggravate them, they will come right for you. So be careful, because as you can see, I'm dragging several at a time by myself. Not even really trying to. I really should have worn different armor. This is really not proper armor for what I'm hunting, nor for where I am. And still not a single board. Do I really have to convert my ammo after every single kill? Probably not, but I kind of err on the side of caution. That's why if you ever do see me in a PvP zone that's lootable and you manage to kill me, you're probably not going to get dick. And if you do get something, you're probably not going to want it because it's probably trash. Now, how often can you go into a PvP zone and not see a single person? This is something that a lot of people have asked, and it's kind of a hard question to answer. I have spent literally all day, like a solid 18 hours, in the PvP zone on Arcadia mining, and not ran into a single player. I have, the day after that, spent 6 hours and ran into one player who was extremely low level and was afraid I was going to kill him. And I was like, no, brother, we're in a PvP zone, but I'm not going to do that to you. I have way higher stats than he did, but by PvP standards, my stats sucked. So we just had a truce between us. At the end of that day, probably 4 or 5 hours later, there was a high-level player that logged in and came in and did kill me. I didn't have anything on me. I took another Anti-Tox shot, waited about an hour, came in, and as soon as I entered, they killed me again. It was the same player. And I actually messaged him. I was like, hey, if you want to get something off me in PvP, you might want to wait until I actually have a chance to, like, mine. Because the funny thing is, I had a mining claim, and they killed me so fast I couldn't even get it out of the ground. Well, they couldn't go claim my claim. So it just sat there. And, of course, I wasn't going to go back in. So, obviously, it was a mistake on their part to do that. Here, have I ran into somebody? Yes, I have. It is a little bit rarer, but then again, I also haven't spent that much time here. It's really hard for me to say how rare it is to run into somebody because I just don't spend enough time here to really know. From what I've talked to other players about, especially other PKers, you can go days without seeing somebody in PvP. One guy, he had a very, very high-end PK weapon, and he was wanting to sell it, and I was considering buying it because it would have also been very good in Mayhem, which is rare. Usually that doesn't happen. And he said, yeah, he said, you can unload, 500 to 1,000 pet off a player pretty easy. But the problem is waiting, and you just have to literally sit there and wait on them. And he said sometimes it's just ungodly boring because there's just nobody around for hours, if not days. He said it's profitable, don't get me wrong, it's just not a fun way to play. So I really can't tell you from experience. I can tell you I don't run into people nearly as often as you would think. I'm not going to say never because it does happen, but not as often as you would think. And like I said, guys, part of the problem here is these things do have a good range. and they will come right to you, just like this one. I'm actually probably getting too close to these guys. I need to put some space between me and them. Still none of the boards I was looking for. I'm about to just call it good on the video, guys. I think you guys have gotten the general idea of what I wanted you guys to be able to see. I don't think we're going to get any of the boards, which means that it's probably more of a rare drop than I anticipated. I figured because we're in a PvP zone that is lootable, I figured it would be a common drop. It apparently is not. These guys are really just dropping a lot of shrapnel for me and every now and then a few robot parts, which does not make them worth hunting at all. So guys, I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap it up. You guys have kind of seen the inside of a PvP zone now. You've gotten a few tips about being in a PvP zone. Should you decide this is something you want to do in the future, just be extremely careful, because the guys who come here, they have exceedingly high skills, exceedingly good weapons, exceedingly good armor, lots of HP, and they're out for blood. If you run into another player in a PvP lootable zone, all is fair in love and war. The game is designed to have PvP lootable zones, and anything you lose is 100% on you guys. So this is one of those things: tread lightly, tread with care, and get in, do what you want to do, and get out. That's the best advice I can give you. If you do have to come into a PvP lootable zone, get in, do what you came to do, and get out. So guys, for EarnPed.com, I've been StevieB, and I will see you with another video really soon. Head over to EarnPed.com, because when you earn, we earn, and that is the best way you guys can help support us. If you want to make a withdrawal from EarnPed.com and you're having trouble reaching me in game, email me at sbraggs62@gmail.com. That's sbraggs62@gmail.com. Subject line withdrawal. Be sure and put your avatar name in the body, and also put your EarnPed.com name in the body if it's different from your avatar in game. Also, let me know how much you're wanting to withdraw, please. If I am not on planet, or if I'm not on the planet that you're on, we can make arrangements. With work being how it is, with life being how it is, I don't have as much free time to be on as I usually did. I'm hoping that does change soon. I am trying to play more. I am trying to be available more. I'm just being pulled like 900 different directions at the moment. That said, guys, again, when you earn, we earn. We really appreciate it. Also, be sure and hit like on the like button on the video. Those haters are out there hitting dislike every single time I post. I posted a video the other day. I kid you not, it was up for 3 seconds and somebody hit dislike. How you can dislike a 20 to 30 minute video after 3 seconds is beyond me, but that's what they're doing. So I'm counting on all the Stevies to keep the likes up. Also, let me know in the comments, have you had any good experiences in a PvP zone? Have you had bad experiences in a PvP zone? What's it been like for you? What are your favorite PvP zones? Why do you go? How often? Do you have any tips for going into PvP zones that I missed in this video? Let me know all that in the comments, guys. As always, if you would like to just help us out, and you are absolutely loaded and wealthier than any Entropian, there is a link in the description below where we do take donations via PayPal. At the moment, I'm actually thinking about using it toward a new vehicle, since my freaking truck got stolen the other day. That was pretty rock and roll. Haven't made that jump yet, but of course donations are always welcome and will go toward the channel in some fashion or another. I also do have a new Predator gaming laptop I need to pull out and get up and running and get set up the way I want it set up. That way we'll be able to make some videos in HD. There's a function with the Predator gaming laptops that you have to redo some of the drivers for certain games, and one of those is Entropia, apparently. Laptop works just fine, but in order to get it to function with Entropia, I've got to mess with it a little bit, and I just haven't had time. I will try and get that up and running for you guys soon. That way we can have some HD videos. That'd be really cool. I'd like to actually be able to play in HD. That'd be pretty sweet. Other than that, I will leave it right there for today. So from EarnPed.com and everybody over here, wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the support. I hope you continue to learn and earn, and we will see you guys again with another video very soon. Take care, Stevies.